The views expressed in this video are that of the content creator, not of their employer. My name's Brownie. I'm in my 30s, mid-career corrections officer. I've seen things most people only read about. Been assaulted, lost my mom at 17, got thrown out at 19. I've worked HVAC, I've started businesses, built a family, but most importantly, I've survived. This channel isn't about pretending life's easy. It's about figuring it out anyway. I'm doing this for me. If it helps you too, stick around. All right, Brownie here. This is the fourth video in our comp series. I'm going to call it Decide What Length of Time to Be Out and What Treatment to Go Through. So, filed out your paperwork, you've called your lawyer, you got set up with the docs that the lawyer wants you to see, his people. Now you're going through the motions. You're going 2-3 times a week to PT. You're getting your reps in. You're visiting monthly with the doctor, who's giving you status reports, statuses, and stuff, and he's trying to improve treatment and so forth. What's going to happen is you're going to notice time start to get away from you, right? You think, okay, I got 6 months, no problem. I'm going to kick my feet up, take it easy, take it slow. But what you got to realize is time's going to go by, okay? Now, you need to stay in control of the timeline. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, unless you're like really egregiously hurt, right? Like, you separated a shoulder, you can't lift your arm, you're in a wheelchair, you're confined to a hospital, etc. Then obviously you don't control that, but you get punched in the face, a couple teeth knocked out, you screw up your back, you screw up your neck, my situation. You have to start to consider how long this process is going to take to get you back to work. Okay? So, what do I mean when I say control the length of time? Your doctors that you're going to go see, sometimes they'll be, pro uh, patient advocate, get you up, get you running, da 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 da. Sometimes you'll get docs that are like, when you want to go back to work, a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever. Because at the end of the day, the docs get paid either way, whether you return to work, whether you don't go back to work. So they're not going to force you into something. They're going to just nod their head and basically sign off. And obviously there's great doctors out there. I've seen great doctors in my career. Got me back up and running within months. But you're going to get, some of these guys that are just there for a paycheck, sign the thing, keep it moving, okay? You're going to get random doctors probably come in and out, doctors you've never seen before that they just want a little piece of the pie. You need to stay in control of the narrative, because what can happen is 6 months goes by in a blink of an eye, and guess what? Now you're going to go down to half pay after you burn your accruals, okay? Now, we'll get into dealing with setbacks and financials in the last couple of videos, but you stay on top of your treatment. You stay on top of your prognosis. You ask questions like, how can I get back to work medically? You ask, can I do light duty? Can I go back light duty? What are my medical restrictions? Okay, because chances are they're not going to really discuss what you're specifically limited to unless it's some egregious injury where you can't put your arms up over your head or whatever. So you stay on top of that. What can I medically do? Okay, CO, we go, we run, we wrestle with cons, etc. and such forth the world over, right? It's not, we're not secretaries, we're not librarians. It's a very physical, active job. So that being said, you need to make the doctor aware of that if they're not already. If some docs are like the ones I've had, or gung ho, get you feeling better, get you right up, right moving, etc. But you let the time go by, that's on you, okay? Because no one's going to tell you this stuff, but you need to stay in control of the narrative. If you just let the time go and treat it like a vacation and this and that, next thing you know, you're looking at half pay, and the docs are going, well, all you've done is go to PT, but you know, you're looking at surgery, you're looking at certain treatment progress, treatment plans, that you haven't really said anything on that you want to go with or you want to pursue. So now we need to take time and do approvals. And now you're looking, well, 6 months is going to come and go in a week, and how do I survive it? That's what I'm saying. Take your time, understand. I apologize, the bike in the background. Take your time and understand that this is going to be a lengthy procedure, but it's also going to be one that you're going to have to stay in control of because no one is going to tell you which way to go. Okay, maybe outside of me and the two people that watch this. No one's going to hold your hand in this. No one's going to tell you what to do. They're all going to act as though you know what you're doing, right? And a lot of us don't. I remember my first case. I got hurt, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll go do this. All right, I guess I'll go do that. And after a while, it's like, why am I still home? Put me back to work. But then you say, do you want to go back to work? And suddenly they're like, all right, when do you want to go? And it's like, why have I been out this long? If all I had to do was say, like, hey, I want to go back to work. So pay attention to what they talk about. If they're not giving you or telling you medical restrictions, ask. Ask for the medical restrictions. This will help you if you got to go late duty. This will help you if you start having an investigator follow you around. You'll learn, okay, I have a hurt shoulder. I shouldn't be slinging cat litter grocery bags into the car with my hurt shoulder, or I shouldn't be lifting real heavy. It sounds like common sense stuff, but, if you're a red-blooded male and you can't, you're not keen on relying on others for help, you're going to lift something heavy and you're just going to say, F it, I can do this. Mama didn't raise a quitter, etc. And yeah, it'll hurt, State's not going to see it that way, especially if you have an investigator following you. So stick with it. Decide what length of time you want to be out, how long you want to endure this. Figure out what your restrictions are if you have any. You gotta know this stuff to keep yourself safe, keep yourself employed. Okay? You'll start having setbacks come up, where you'll be pushing, and you get denied. We'll go over that in the next video. But, after a while, it's going to start affecting your finances too. So, next two videos coming out are going to be dealing with setbacks and dealing with your financials sooner rather than later. All right. Brownie out.